So picture this, a journalist is turning in an expose. A discussion on corruption of the ones who swore to keep us safe. But their editor is disgusted. They shut the door and show their face. Give the standard script of staying in your lane, never making waves, of learning how to recognize your place, and tells them if they'd like to keep their nearly decent pay, the message must be gutted, the article replaced. Wake up that next day, the journalist has boiled all their morals into rage. They showed up in the night, had some guts, had their way, put the expose on full display, front fucking page. While overnight the journalist is painted in a frame and smeared by any agency with anything to gain, and every single accolade they'd earned would be reclaimed, leaving every other journalist afraid to speak their name. The populace acknowledged it, wasn't swayed. Thought they read about it once before, it's all the same. And so the journalists will spend a decade starved and caged, and all of us were watching and yet nothing changed. All of us were watching and yet nothing changed. All of us were watching and yet nothing changed. All of us were watching and yet nothing changed. All of us were watching and yet nothing changed.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Welcome back to another episode of Free the Truth. I'm Glory Jones, and to my left is Comrade Misty. And yeah, we have another episode of Free the Truth where we have a lot to go through about whistleblowers and persecuted Indigenous activists and
all kinds of fun, happy, cheerful things to talk about today, guys, as always. We were actually going to have Tara Reid on the show today. She had some life stuff come up, so she's going to reschedule. Hopefully we can get that for maybe next week. I'm really excited to talk to her, as always. I love her. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about, though. So where would you like to start, Miss Glory Jones?
I don't know. Where do you want to start?
I mean, the thing that's pissing me off the most currently right now is, well, I mean, the Donziger stuff, but we covered that on Tuesday, so I've gotten a little bit of that out of my system. We're still going to cover it, obviously, but so there's some Daniel Hale updates that I want to talk about because there's some shenanigans going on. So let me pull up this tweet that just came out from the Daniel Hale support team. So it says, oh wait, I don't know, I got to pull it up. I tried fixing that. Sleepy Josh told me I could go in the settings and fix it, and I think that other people on KRTD are taking it off, and so I guess I'm just gonna have to do it every time. So anyway, so the Daniel Hale support team says, we wish we could share how Daniel is doing, but even the small updates we have been communicating out here have resulted in increased discipline. So we are unable to say much more. Please know that he is very sorry that he can't keep in touch. So what I'm gathering from that is that when he is telling the people on his team how he's doing, how things are going, whether or not he's getting his mail, that he's reached his limit on books, all of those things that they've been updating us on, he's getting in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. I mean, I don't know why he... I mean, I do know why, but they haven't even really been updating that much as far as like significant. It's not like they're talking about anything other than, hey, he's doing okay. He appreciates your letters, or maybe it might be because they did say something about his mail being really delayed. So maybe that got him in trouble. I don't know, but it seems really petty and punitive, like they're just looking for an excuse to punish the poor guy more.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the kind of shit they do. Like, I know with X, they gave him like a completely bullshit disciplinary write-up for something that he didn't do. So
yeah, no, I know, it pisses me off because you know, it's the same way I feel about Julian Assange. Like we don't get updates about how Julian Assange is doing. We don't get updates about how he's feeling, if he's getting his mail, is he receiving mail, we don't know how his health is. There's no communication whatsoever. And I'm not okay with that at all. I mean, these are people who are being held in horrific conditions, and the fact that they have no ability to communicate with the outside world about how they're doing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of those things is not okay by
Yeah.
me.
Like, you want these people, or well, you want prisoners to still be able to have some sort of contact with the outside world.
We want them to.
Yeah, like have some sort of, well, and it's the right thing, you know? You
Yes.
don't want them to stay in the prisoner mentality once they get out, and one of the ways that you help with that is
No, but I think that they do. And I
yeah,
mean,
well, they do.
yes. No, that's but that's what I mean. Like, this shit, it pisses me off, and it should make you guys angry as well. You know, first of all, he shouldn't even be in prison. Daniel Hale should not be in prison.
Facts.
He should be out. He should be celebrated. We should be throwing parades in his honor. And the people who enabled the drone program to continue murdering 90% civilians should be in jail instead. So there's that. But then also the fact that he is unable to communicate with people to the point where he's not even allowed to, like, his team isn't even allowed to update like just the basics on how he's doing. I mean, I'm never going to be okay with that. I mean, he's being held in a communications management unit. He's already extremely restricted and very shut off from the outside world. His visits are very limited. He has a very tiny list of people that he's allowed to visit with. So his contact with the outside world is already very minimal. And for them to shut it down even more is just ridiculous. So I'm angry about it, obviously. But I do have some good news on the Daniel Hale front as well. So let's see.
Yeah.
So in Chicago, they're holding a letter writing party for Daniel Hale on March 30th.
Fuck yeah.
I know. It's going to be at the Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church. So if you are in the Chicago area, you can go to this letter writing campaign. I guess I should have. I don't know if I'll probably have to stop sharing and then reshare. I don't know how that works. Oh, no. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the letter writing party.
March 30th,
yeah, March 30th. Here, I'm going to stop sharing this and I'll go to the actual event page so we can get like times and all of that stuff as well. Okay, you can sign up. There's a little place to sign up right here. So Daniel Hale is a drone whistleblower who is serving out an almost 4-year sentence in Marion, Illinois. Daniel helped shed light on the inhumane nature of the U.S. drone program, and March 31st marks 1 year since he pled guilty. Daniel loves receiving letters. Let's send love and solidarity to a truth teller incarcerated in our state. I guess this didn't share, did it? God damn it, I hate that. Sorry, guys. All supplies will be provided by Code Pink. Thank you, Code Pink. But if you have extra stamps you're willing to spare, please bring them. Thank you to the Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church for allowing us to use their space for this event. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually, that a church is willing to allow this. So it's on March 30th from 7 to 8 at the Lincoln Park Presbyterian Church. I don't know why I have such trouble with that word. Presbyterian Church.
Presbyterian.
Okay. It's hard. My mouth just doesn't want to make that word at all. It's at 600 West Fullerton Parkway, Chicago, Illinois, 60614 US. So if you are able to make it, again, there's a little spot here where you can sign up, where you can bring some friends. The more the merrier. So they have a place where you can Google map and directions. You can contact, it looks like Danica. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. I always worry about that because I'm really bad at pronunciation of names and such. You know, I'm real good at this. I'm very professional. Yeah, so this is great. This is great news. And also, I don't have it pulled up, but I think we already talked about this on the Assange vigils. The Daniel Hale support team reached out to Eve 6, and Eve 6 is apparently, they have some shows. I guess I could try to I guess it would probably be better to try it on the Daniel, because Eve 6 tweets a lot, so I'd say there's probably less tweets to go through. I love Max. He's funny. I mean, I disagree with him on some stuff, but he cracks me up. So let's see. More good news. I don't know why I'm just now seeing this. This was tweeted out on February 14th, and I'm just now seeing it. More good news
What's the
on
good
Daniel
news?
Hale. I like good news, yo. This is good. I like it. All right. I thought I was going to come in here pissed off about Daniel Hale, but here we are. There's some good news. Hi, everybody. A huge thank you to everyone that helped us meet the goal for Daniel's support fund and to Code Pink for the additional fundraising. We closed out the fundraiser today. Woohoo! That's huge. So they had started this fund. They had to it took a while. They had to convince Daniel to be okay with this. He didn't feel comfortable with any level of fundraising for himself because he's just that kind of guy. But they finally convinced him that this will help with legal fees. This will help once he's released. It'll help him get back on his feet, secure housing, all of that stuff. So this is huge, massive. Can't believe I missed this. So if you donated, thank you. If you shared the fundraiser, thank you. This is a big deal. But yeah, that's I was very hopeful that we would be able to do that the way that we did for
Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, that was seriously, that gave me life.
That was a dub. That was a dub. I'm not
so that was a huge dub. That was a huge, made me happy. I live tweeted the whole thing because I was so excited. I know you did too. I was very pumped.
I did too.
All right, so
I was like, oh my God, we have like $57 left. Let's go.
Like every 45 minutes, I'm like, you guys, it's up to this. Oh my God, you guys, we're almost up. I freaked out. I freaked out for like 36 hours. Yeah, it was great. So here's some more good news. Shout out to Eve 6 once again. So they reached out to them. Hi, Eve 6. You've supported Daniel Hale, incarcerated whistleblower, in the past. He is very appreciative. Can we set up a letter writing table at your DC shows to send him some love from other Eve 6 fans? He loves y'all and enjoyed Comet Ping Pong Pizza when he was able to. And there it is. There it is. Absolutely. Thank you, Max and John. And I can't remember the drummer's name. All I know is Max gets mad because he's cute, I guess. I don't know. I haven't looked, but yeah. Max and John are great. So there's going to be a letter writing table at Eve 6 upcoming DC shows. So that's great. This is awesome to see this level of support that's going to be going down. Nice. Makes me happy. So that's good stuff. So if you can make it to Eve 6's DC shows, do so and write a letter to Daniel Hale. If you can make it to the letter writing campaign that Code Pink organized in Chicago, please do that as well. Or you can just write to Daniel yourself. You can do that too. Mm-hmm. But it's cool to see this level of support. Makes me happy. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's all I have on Daniel Hale. Yeah. Okay, so
do we want to go to? We'll go to the Donziger stuff now.
Okay, are you going to pull that up?
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, because this all happened in the span of like a week.
Yeah.
Most of these recent updates, it was
a weird 5 to 7 days.
Yeah,
it's very bizarre.
It's just weird. So 6 days. I want to share. Why is my shit frozen?
I don't know. I can pull it up. Is it just his timeline?
Yeah,
I just had it up.
Because I wanted to go through it as a timeline, but for some reason, my shit's doing something weird.
Okay, hang on. I gotta scroll down a little bit. I think that's where it's. Nope. Okay, February 11th, right? Is that the one you were starting on?
Yeah, February 11th, 6 days ago.
Got it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that up for us right now.
What the hell is wrong with my screen now?
I don't know. Okay, here we go. So it says, urgent, with no notice or warning. 3 days ago, Stephen was ordered to leave home and be locked up in a halfway house just after his ankle monitor was removed. His lawyers believe this is retaliatory and are working to return Stephen to his family more soon. And there's a picture of the handsome Stephen Donziger. My mom thinks he's cute. That's why I said that. She's so funny. Him and Nils Melzer. She's got a little crush. So yeah, that's there's two Glory Joneses.
This is what happens at this show. You get all the computer issues that I don't have just like to come up during this show. It's very convenient. But yes.
Yeah, I just read that because I didn't know that you were gone. So I just read that out loud already.
Yeah, my whole thing froze, so I just had to force quit all my
Okay.
tabs for a second. But luckily, everything restored, and it seems to
Got
be
it.
working for now.
Got it, dude. Okay. Yeah. So he was just randomly I guess we can play next, we'll play the video
Yeah,
that he just recently, hold on, let's see if there's anything else. No, that's just like a
yeah,
update.
it was just
No.
him being yanked to the halfway house,
Yeah.
and then for obvious reasons, because of that, there was, measurable and reasonable and justifiable outrage for it. So then he got let out, and now he's back in his house with an ankle bracelet, I
Yeah, now
believe.
he has another ankle brace
Yep.
on. So there's a
Yep.
I'm going to play this video for you guys. This is the video that he made. Let me make sure the audio's on. This is the video that he put out after his release. So let's play that. Stop. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm back home after 5 pretty harrowing days spent locked up in a halfway house in the Bronx. The windows were nailed shut. There was very little ventilation, and they wouldn't let me out, unlike every other person in the halfway house. I literally just got fresh air for the first time today after 5 days. Last Wednesday I got this bizarre call in the morning. My son had just gone to school. He's in 10th grade, and it said, "Come in, bring clothes." And they wouldn't tell me why. I got there. They still wouldn't tell me why. 36 hours passed. And I was just sitting there, had to stay there overnight. My son came home from school that day, and his dad was gone, and we had no explanation as to when I might be back. I was really worried they were going to try to put me in prison. They finally told me what the problem was, which is that they violated me because I had been in my building, in my apartment building, but not in my apartment for a couple of hours for a meeting. Frankly, this is nonsense. And while I respect the procedures and the conditions of my very unjust and I would say illegal confinement, this was highly unusual. And I strongly suspect Chevron and its lawyers are behind it. In any event, thanks to Amnesty International, Representative McGovern, my lawyers, Ron Kuby, and thousands of people around the world who stood by me and demanded I be returned home, which finally happened today. This is an example of how Chevron still wants to disrupt my human rights work and to attack me as a way to avoid paying the judgment to the indigenous peoples in Ecuador, who the company poisoned by deliberately dumping 16 billion gallons of toxic waste in the Amazon. We need to protect me. We need to force this company to pay what it owes to the people of Ecuador. If you can help us, again, I urge you, please go to our website, freedonziger.com. One word, Free Donziger, Donziger. We need resources to deal with this monster polluter called Chevron and its attacks on me and other advocates who are working to enforce this judgment to help the indigenous peoples of the Amazon. Again, it's freedonziger.com. I'll give more details later. I'm so happy to be home. And I thank everyone who helped and stood by me. I felt the solidarity. Lots of love. I'll be reporting back soon.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that it was Chevron involved in this because,
Of
I mean,
course.
especially with these multinational oil companies like Chevron and Shell and ExxonMobil or oil and gas, they have tentacles that extend beyond their initial boundaries. I mean, and this is something that WikiLeaks was instrumental in exposing. I mean, in the case of Shell, Cablegate proved that you had several members of Shell that were literally bragging about how pervasively and how deep they infiltrated the Nigerian government and how embedded they were in the whole system there. And it's just like so they're all over. They're all over and they're embedded in,
I mean,
so
really,
many
the judge
governments.
in the Donziger trial was basically a Chevron judge. Might as well have
Mhm.
been on the payroll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the tentacles are far reaching.
Yeah.
I'm
And then
sure that surprises no one.
this was an article. Hopefully my shit doesn't crash again. Okay.
We're doing it live.
Yeah. This was an article that Donziger recommended that he shared himself that basically gives like a whole background of his case along with the poisoning that happened in the Amazon. This lawyer should be world famous for his battle with Chevron, but he's in jail because that's fucking society. Chevron is accused of polluting the Amazon for 26 years. The only people who paid the price are a human rights lawyer and those whose land was poisoned. Most people have probably heard about Chernobyl and BP oil spill. You may have also know about my legal battle over contaminated water in California, dramatized in the movie Erin Brockovich. Yet far fewer people have heard about what transpired in the Ecuadorian Amazon. Though it's considered by some activist journalists and members of U.S. Congress to be one of the world's worst environmental disasters. What if I told you that a multinational oil company allegedly polluted the Amazon for almost 3 decades, and that the oil company has spent even more years refusing to accept liability, or that a U.S. attorney who agreed to represent thousands of Ecuadorian villagers in a lawsuit against that oil company has lost his law license, income, spent hundreds of days under house arrest in New York, and in 2021 was sentenced to 6 months in prison. So that's kind of the background for this article, which I will link in the chat soon.
Can you do links? Are you a mod? You should be.
I'm a mod.
So.
It's just that I can't do it directly from StreamYard, so I have to copy it. It's my
okay.
So yeah.
Well, I could probably do it too if that's easier. I'm loath to share an article from The Guardian, but I'll do it just because Donzinger.
I know. I only did it because he recommended it, and unfortunately,
but fuck The Guardian. We'll say that. We're sharing this article while saying fuck The Guardian.
Yeah, okay? It is the writer who wrote it is decent. So yeah.
So no offense to the actual author of the article, I'm not, but fuck The Guardian.
Yeah. And I mean, that's pretty much like the story of Donzinger's case. And unfortunately, the Ecuadorian Amazon isn't the only place that's just been incredibly polluted by oil companies, by gas companies, by fossil fuel companies that just ravage the environment without giving a shit about the local populace or the nature that they're destroying. It happens all over the world, unfortunately. And people are held largely unaccountable, those who perpetrated, the oil companies that perpetrated. So yeah, it sucks.
It does suck. Ugh. But also I do want to share, Stephen also shared this event that he is doing, which is excellent. This should be a really good event. You guys should definitely check it out if you're able to. So he says, breaking, please join us at 11 a.m. Eastern Wednesday to discuss how corporate giants like Chevron and CN Railway are trying to privately prosecute and criminalize. Oh, did I share it? Okay, I did. I got nervous for a second. Are trying to privately prosecute and criminalize indigenous land defenders around the world. So he's doing this event was yesterday, but you can go back and watch it.
And we actually have the article up too about it.
Yeah. So yeah, this was the event that he did with cultural survival with a bunch of indigenous activists and other very fancy pants smart people. I love fancy pants smart people. So yeah, that was just a great event that he did. It's cool that he's maintaining solidarity. And then here's the article.
Yep. Corporate prosecutions of land defenders could be coming to Canada. Oh, but they're already there.
Yeah, they already are.
ABC Supreme Court judge invited CN to prosecute a GitScan hereditary chief when public prosecutors declined to do so. On the side of the road just past the bridge that crosses over the Canadian National Railway tracks in New Hazelton, BC, British Columbia, sits a small tent structure. Inside, pensively warming his hands over a fire on a cold January day, sits Chief Spookwu, hereditary chief of the Lax-Gibu Wolf Clan of the GitScan Nation. This is a Lax-Gibu territory, ancient, unceded. The tent is symbolic, an assertion of GitScan sovereignty in the face of CN encroachment that started over a century ago when the rail line was built. The Gitscan have never given up their rights to the land, but the colonizing governments claimed it for their own anyways. They have not paid any rent for the land, for the use of that land in 120 years, says Spooku. His voice thick with conviction, and now they're quote unquote accusing us of trespassing on our own lands. So that's just great. In
Fucking
February
colonizers.
2020, Spooku, I'm sorry I'm butchering his name, I really would, was arrested alongside a dozen other land defenders who blocked the rail line in New Hazelton to express solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en fight to stop the Coastal GasLink natural gas pipeline from crossing their territory. So that's connected with what we were covering last week with the protesters being persecuted because with the Wet'suwet'en peoples. It was a moment of outrage and humiliation for the Gitscan as they watched one of their hereditary leaders led away in handcuffs. No one in our group had ever been arrested prior, including me. So I told the people involved that no one else was to be arrested with me, that I would do it alone. But there were people that just stood beside me and said, no, we're not leaving. It was uplifting for me. The strength of our people was there. The rail blockade followed militarized police raids on Wet'suwet'en checkpoints that were preventing Coastal GasLink from continuing work. Soon, dozens of other blockades popped up across the country, halting key transportation routes across Canada for weeks. Court injunctions ordering the removal of the blockade soon followed. The Gitscan have the exact rights and the title the Wet'suwet'en hold to their land. Through the Delgamuukw Gistewa court case, it was determined that our rights and title haven't been extinguished. They still exist from the beginning of time, explained Spooku. The Delgamuukw Gistewa decision is a 1977 Supreme Court of Canada ruling that upheld the territory of the hereditary leadership of the Wet'suwet'en and the Gitscan over their unceded territories. So I got arrested to bring forward the title issue. If Canada was willing to go into court and battle over title, then CN was willing to go to court and battle over title, then yes, they are following a course that I set in place. The title issue has to be dealt with. They have been infringing on our right and title for over 120 years because yeah, it's their fucking land. The threat of corporate prosecutions. The BC Prosecution Service decided in December 2021 not to press criminal charges against Spooku and other land defenders, finding that doing so was not in the public interest. No fucking shit. Justice Ward Branch of the BC Supreme Court, the same judge who issued the injunction against the Gitscan blockade, argued in an injunction hearing that the prosecution service was not the sole arbiter of the public interest. While BCPS has expertise in assessing and pursuing criminal offenses, the court undoubtedly has its own expertise in protecting the administration of justice and ensuring respect for the courts. Branch said during a hearing for those charged with breach of civil injunction. Branch then offered the CN opportunity to prosecute 3 of the Gitscan leaders, including Spooku. That rather unprecedented threat of private prosecution has hung over them since. So basically, where they won't be prosecuted publicly, they still leave the door open for private prosecutors to do just that. CN indicated that it could not hold those involved liable for losses of up to $135 million per day of the blockades, a conviction that could come with a prison sentence up to 5 years. Well, it's their fucking land. So for weeks after Branch's invitation to CN, there was only silence from the corporation. During this time, Spooku and his lawyer, Martin Pierce, prepared to go up against a multi-billion-dollar corporation in court, that being Chevron. We are talking about a lack of resources, said Peters, a Vancouver-based lawyer, because these are poor people. They don't have millions of dollars. When we're dealing with CN, they have a lot of money, and it's difficult. The lawyers they hire are very good lawyers. And this is obviously what everyone trying to go after these massive oil companies have to go up against. In a January email responding to questions from Ricochet, a spokesperson for CN wrote that the company wasn't planning on pursuing criminal charges at that time and was satisfied that this injunction was ultimately enforced. But Spooky and Peters aren't convinced that CN won't eventually follow through and press charges at some point down the road. Peters is determined to see this case through, despite the challenges, because he sees the use of private prosecutions as a threat to Indigenous rights. It's important that corporations be challenged. I'm concerned with the power of corporations when they walk into court. The ease with which corporations can obtain injunctions which affect First Nations' rights is troubling, he says. When that impacts First Nations land, what we are comparing here is not private rights, they're sovereign rights, rights protected by the Constitution. And that analysis seems to never happen. Or if it happens far too late in the game. It's very important these matters be litigated, he says, adding that litigated Indigenous rights is nothing new. First Nations rights have been trampled for centuries. And then there's that. Yeah. That sucks. And then the rest of the article goes into some context about Stephen Donziger's case. So just so people understand, what Indigenous activists are up against. And I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, this is, I don't think it should surprise anybody that, if they're going to do it to Stephen Donziger, of course they're going to do it to Indigenous activists.
Yeah.
They have been, really. We saw what happened at Standing Rock and in other locations. This is only going to continue to get worse. I hate to say it, but we've been trying to scream about it for years that this is only going to continue to get worse. The clampdown on dissent is among us. You know what I mean? Like, this is really going to get bad. So, it just really makes it all the more important to stand with the Indigenous activists and protesters and water protectors and land protectors, because they're, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So, yeah, it's not good. None of this is good.
It's reminiscent to a lot of the sovereignty movements that for natives that we see across the world, really. Yeah. Obviously it's not the same, but the protests happening in Canada against those gas pipes are very reminiscent of the Standing Rock and the Keystone Pipeline protests here, but obviously it's a different nation. So
right. Well, it really just, it speaks to just the people try to pretend like this whole colonizer attitude is a thing of the past. No, we're living in it right now still. It's manifesting in different forms. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. We've been trying to focus a lot on that with me and Jesse have a new show that we're doing. Facts for Me. We're trying to cover a lot of missing and murdered Indigenous women and other marginalized groups, true crime stories that don't get, that don't get the white girl coverage. So it really is, this is a huge, massive problem. This is not like a thing of the past. This is happening right now, and this is just another example of that, and it's gonna get worse. I'm sorry, negative Nancy, but it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, well, it's like, especially when you compare how missing Indigenous women is something that's intertwined with like the uptick in human trafficking, for instance. And thinking about that's just disgusting in and of itself. And,
yes. Yes.
Which is why shout out to I forgot the name of the group, but shout out to the people I saw who were protesting against human trafficking outside
you should pull up that
SoFi
video.
Stadium on Sunday.
Pull up that video. And Eliza Blue actually just, this is slightly off topic. No, not really. But Eliza Blue pointed out something, who I love her. If you're not following her, you should be. She's great as far as the human trafficking and all of that stuff goes. She's fantastic. But she sorry, I just got a text message and it distracted me. But she just tweeted out, well, I was waiting for a text message. It's not the one I was waiting for, so nobody cares. Let's see. Where is it?
Oh fuck! I accidentally hit my cam settings instead of the share screen.
Oh, did you share it already? Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Oh no, I'm in the
Oh,
process
okay.
of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the woman who is holding the. So basically, this Sunday, this little thing for fake football called the Super Bowl happened, and so listen, I'll just get this out of the way right there. As someone who is on the ground outside the stadium, I probably saw more Bengals fans than Rams fans. Just saying, if you know, if Cincinnati fans want a little nugget after the loss, if they want a little treat still, just know
A
that
little
you
treat.
guys just
Listen,
know that
the Bengals made it to a Super Bowl. That's a treat in itself.
just know it will, and it showed because I was on the ground there and there were more Bengals fans than Rams fans there.
Yes, dude. But do you blame them? It's been since the 80s.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
it was
But
their time
yeah,
to shine.
so there were tons of demonstrators outside the Super Bowl on Sunday. There were anti-mandate protesters. There was someone who was carrying a sign for Frederick Holder, who was murdered by Los Angeles sheriffs at a traffic stop when they shot him 33 times, and he was walking around the whole stadium with a sign telling people that. And that information is all on this thread as well. There were also just like some weird performers and preachers. And I think the Black Israelites were there too. But among the demonstrators, there were also people who were raising awareness for human trafficking victims because the Super Bowl and any major sporting event really, they're kind of hotbeds for human trafficking to take place. So
Yes.
here's one of the demonstrators here.
Children are trafficked for $3 billion a year. Okay? Think about that. Human trafficking at the border. Think about the border. Where are those children? Just because they're from another country, we don't care? Of course we care. We care about children being trafficked in this place, in other countries, in other states. There is just no way that we can just sit around and say nothing because then we're complicit. So if you want to know more information, come to our corner. We have bracelets, free information. Everything is for free. We don't charge for information. It's all free.
So yeah, here's the information I was able to pick up from them. Basically, human trafficking is a $150 billion industry led by drugs and arms trafficking. Around 25 million men, women, and children are victims of human trafficking. Almost 5 million of them are sexually exploited. 2 million of them are children. Porn is a $97 billion global industry. Children accounts for $32 billion of that.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I can believe it, unfortunately, because I've seen stories of minors and shit. And
I have too,
Pornhub.
but $32 billion.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that makes me sick.
Yeah. And then every 30 seconds, a child is sold for sex, labor, organ harvesting. Yeah, the red market. That's what people don't talk about, especially when it comes to a group like the White Helmets, and why people like Vanessa Beeley did such important work there, exposing the White Helmets, because they aided in the proliferation of organ trafficking.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's
Jesse talked to
more.
her about that a couple weeks ago. I missed that one, but I had some shit going down. But yeah, that was a good interview. You guys should check that out.
Yeah, and then here's more information on the back. At 90s Hawkshaws on Instagram. And then one of the victims that one of the survivors of human trafficking that they were talking about was Allie Carter. I apologize. I forgot that my thumb was covered. Was covering the name, but the name is Allie Carter. And obviously she's not the only one as well. There's, many more human trafficking victims, and as well there's Epstein and Maxwell victims, and Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross. But yeah, this goes right along with what you were just talking about there. So obviously Eliza Blue talks about human trafficking all the time. And so she said, I believe that the Washington Post owes an apology to the 8 minor girls located while being trafficked during the Super Bowl this year. Those girls aren't a myth, they are survivors. Because a while back, the Washington Post did a article where they proclaimed that increased sex trafficking during the Super Bowl is a dangerous myth, these LA sex workers say. And then LA human trafficking operation rescues more than 80
Yeah,
victims.
what the fuck? That's
Make up
fucking
your
cap.
mind. Make up your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, make up your mind. And then she points out, do I believe that willing adult entertainers should be arrested? No, I've remained consistent about this. We can be adults and have a nuanced conversation without belittling the experience of minors, victims, and survivors. So yes, obviously, sex workers should be allowed to do their thing, right? Like, fine. I'm fine with that. But we also have to recognize the fact that a lot of well, I don't want to say a lot, but I mean, some of the times sex workers have been trafficked and
Yeah.
they're forced into it and they're drugged up and they're, you know what I mean? Like, we need to be mindful that this isn't, I mean, this is why this shit should be legalized. So that way there can be some accountability and it's not like just some, random
Yeah.
dude, grabbing some girl off the street who's 14 and on drugs and throwing her out there to the wolves. So it's silly. It is absolutely a thing that happens. And like Lori said, it's not just Super Bowl, it's really any major sporting event.
Mhm.
This is a really big problem. I mean, there's a lot of people in from out of town. So it's really easy for them to get in, get out. And so this is a thing that happens consistently and we need to be mindful of it and aware of it. So
Yep. And I mean, it's something that happens through war a lot. It's something that
yes.
happens, and here's one that a lot of people miss. It's something that happens through tourism. I mean, in parts of the Caribbean, they literally have sex tourism, which is just like fucking human traffickers buffet, if you think about it. And it's gross.
It is gross. And it's something that people need to be aware of and watch out for. And I'm glad that those protesters were out there making noise about it. I don't think a lot of people are aware of how bad it is. And I think a lot of people in this country have convinced themselves that it's like it's happening elsewhere. It doesn't happen here. It happens here.
I feel like, because I guess one thing that I can say is a positive of social media is I think more people are how do I say this? Because it's like, when you're, I feel like it's easier for us to understand how we're more aware about it just because we're girls. So it's like,
and I have daughters.
It's
terrifying.
It's the thing of like, don't walk alone at night in the city.
Don't go to the bathroom by yourself. Never leave your friends behind.
Don't
watch your drink. Don't leave your drink sitting on the bar. Make sure you your drink.
Like, I feel like being aware of all those things already, we're kind of naturally more aware of something like, hey, if you're going to the store at night, don't park in the back of the parking lot. If you see a piece of cardboard stuck in your windshields, don't stop to take it out. Like if
keep your keys in between your fingers as a weapon. Don't talk on your phone while you're walking.
Carry
pay
the
attention
mace,
to your surroundings.
carry the knife.
Don't wear headphones while you're walking. Pay attention to your surroundings. Yes, all of those things. It's terrible that we have to know those things, but we have to know those things.
Yeah.
And
I feel like having to know those things kind of feeds into like a general awareness of human trafficking, even if we don't know it. Like, because I know a lot of girls do these things without realizing, like, it's not just like rapists, it's like straight up human traffickers that you're looking out for when you do this shit. So it's like,
that's why, like, my kid desperately wants to be on like Instagram and TikTok, and I'm like, you can have private accounts, but you're not having a public account. Well, but why, my friend? I don't care what your friends have. There are creepy ass people out there who would love nothing more than to come snatch up a pretty blonde girl. I don't want to hear it. She's 11.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't get an Instagram until like the end of 9th grade.
Dude, I'm old, so like Instagram wasn't a thing, but I just now got an Instagram like not that long ago, and I don't even really use it. I get that, like, for her it's different, and her friends do have Instagram accounts, and that's fine. If that's okay with their parents, I'm not here to judge those parents, but not my kid. That's not happening.
Yeah,
it's because I watch so much true crime, you guys.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like, okay, it's nice to have it for your friends and stuff, but also it can be like terrible for your mental health
Yes, I
that's
tried
the
to tell her
main
that
reason
too.
why
There's a lot
I
of
recommend
bullying.
against it.
Yes, there's a lot of
But
bullying. There's a lot of just completely unattainable. Like everybody's airbrushed, and there's all those filters, like that catfish filter that's been going around.
yeah, like
Like
everybody,
I did
like
it just to see
everybody's
like how
airbrushed.
different.
They don't have a blemish on their
Yes,
face. They have like they're like photoshopped. They have the perfect
nobody
figure,
looks like
and it's
that.
like, yeah, no.
No, and I talk to her about that all the time. My oldest doesn't care. Like she's not at all concerned. But my youngest definitely she wants, and I'm like, no, it's not happening, and we have to talk about it. And maybe when you're older, maybe we'll see. Maybe when you're 18. You know what I mean? Just because I see how damaging it is
But
on
yeah,
mental
well, and
health.
there are a lot of scams that lead
Yes.
to like instances of trafficking. Like there'll be like there'll be some people, for instance, if like a hotel changes their branding, then
Mhm.
there'll be people that use the old
Old
branding
branding. Yeah.
to make an Instagram account that looks totally legit, and they'll lure in people with it like, yeah, we'll fly you in, and then next thing you know,
Your kid's gone.
yeah.
Yeah. I got no time for that. Seriously. My kids are screwed. I
Yeah,
watch so much true crime. It's not
if someone
happening.
DMs you from Instagram about like a modeling opportunity, listen, I'm not saying you're not beautiful. I'm sure you are.
You are
Like,
beautiful, but
I'm
it's
sure
a
you're
scam.
beautiful, but you don't need a modeling agency to validate that for you.
No.
Especially one where 95% chance is it's probably a fucking scam.
It's probably
So,
more like 98.9% chance. Like
yeah.
it's a scam. It's a scam.
Mhm.
Please don't fall for it. You don't want to end up in that situation. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Oh my God. Why did I have kids? It's so terrifying.
Oh no.
Oh, God damn it. Okay. So, all right, let me close out some of these tabs because I am in over my head over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. Done with that. All right.
We kind of went off on a tangent
We did.
but yes, it's because it's all connected though, because human trafficking really is connected to the missing murdered Indigenous woman problem that we have that doesn't get enough coverage. And
Mhm.
it's like everywhere. It's in Canada, it's in the Midwest, it's in New Mexico, it's in the borders along the fucking it's along the
It's
border in
everywhere.
Mexico, and like yes, it's
We just did a case in Colorado. The case before that, I forget where it was. I forget where it was. But we just did one in Colorado. I mean, northeast Colorado. It happens everywhere. Everywhere. Washington State, huge, massive problem in Washington State. I mean, it's a really big issue. It legitimately, and even I don't mean to knock the true crime community. I don't, but I kind of do because they don't cover it. There's like a gazillion true crime videos about JonBenet Ramsey and Madeleine McCann and all of the, like, it's been covered. It's been done. It's been done. It's been done. It's been done. Stop doing those videos and start covering some of the cases that don't get any coverage.
Yeah.
It's mind boggling to me that I don't need another, what's his name? Oh, my mind just went blank.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
No. Yeah, but that too. I mean, serial killers I do find specifically fascinating just because of the psychology behind it. So I'm okay with, maybe like a different take on it here and there, but there are a ton of them. Chris Watts is who I was thinking of though. Dude, there's a whole like industry on YouTube dedicated just to this one dude. There's so many. Go on YouTube after you're done watching us. Go on YouTube and just hit Chris Watts. I mean, there's entire channels that have been dead. This happened in 2018. It's almost 4 years later. In August, it'll be 4 years. And there are entire channels dedicated to covering nothing but Chris Watts. That's it. That's all they talk about. It's nuts. We just covered a girl, a transgender Cherokee woman who went missing. And the cops said that she lived a high risk lifestyle because she was a known drug user and had 500 male Facebook friends. That was their excuse for not using any resources to look for this woman. What? What?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
if I go missing, are they going to be like, oh, well, she has, however many male Twitter followers. She lives a high risk lifestyle. No, of course not. Because I'm white and I'm cis. So they're not going to do that. It's all about, it's again, colonialism straight up.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, ugh. I mean, like, these were like the original people on this land and they were taking care of it and they were just fucking chilling until we came in and genocided them. And now a bunch of them are missing and murdered, and if they're missing, it might be for the purpose of human
There's
trafficking.
still a genocide happening.
And we don't even fucking care.
Yeah.
It's gross.
That genocide is continuing.
But we do care when they have to fight to make sure a fucking gas or oil pipe doesn't go through their own land. Because, oh my God, you can't block my fucking Chevron or Keystone pipeline. No, fuck you.
Sleepy's here.
Sleepy J?
Gosh, yeah.
Beast God, Tech Ninja?
He
What?
is here. I know. I'm fangirling right now. Sleepy Josh.
Shout out Sleepy Josh.
Yeah, we love Sleepy Josh. Okay, so
who else is in the chat? Ward here. Shout out.
ICU's here. Uncle Warren.
Shout out Uncle Warren.
Let's see. Steve. Hi, Steve. Hi, Brandy.
Orale. Shadow Band Refugee.
Of course, Shadow Band's here.
See Propaganda Live in here. Shout out the Free Wilson crew.
Variant was here. I don't know if they're still here, but they were here.
Variant and Psy were here.
Yeah.
Lovely, beautiful couple. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah. Everybody come to DC. Steve Cutler's here, or was here. I don't know if Dingo. Hi, Steve. I love Steve.
As long as we're giving shout outs, I have to show this video. So last night, my friend Mr. Wilson, he was doing a senior chat. So yeah,
you sent that to me.
Yeah, I sent it to you because it was like the main way I thought I could share it. So I was just like,
I was like, what is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
I was just confused for a second. And Sleepy Josh is in fact sleepy. He said he got 3 hours of sleep. When are you not sleepy? You got coffee, homie? You need some? I'll while Glory's playing this video, I'll put up your buy me a coffee link.
It's like 20 seconds. It's just wholesome. Mr. Wilson, guys, again, if you don't know, Mr. Wilson is a Pakistani YouTube streamer. A couple of weeks ago, he was arrested and he was faced with bullshit charges because he helped, because him and his family helped a couple of Korean girls escape an abusive rich scumbag and get to the Korean embassy. But unfortunately, the girls were caught. And as a result of that, false allegations were lobbied against Wilson and his family. Luckily, right now, he's out on bail. So he still has to fight his trial, and we're wishing the best for that. But the case is looking in his favor, likely. It's just about raising funds for him. But yes, in the meantime, here's this wholesome video from when he was singing chats to us.
Oh, Julian Assange is in prison for exposing war crimes. We need him right now to expose these global shoppers free. The truth, the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth. Free Assange now.
There. That's it.
That's a jam. That's a jam right there. I need that for my ringtone.
Yeah, I know.
Legit.
I just had to play it because I was spamming a couple chats because I was shout out to Ottawa, but instead of Ottawa, it's Ottawa. Okay. They were doing a stream of the truckers convoy, and there were like 9K people watching. So naturally, I was like, all right. Free Julian Assange, free Julian Assange, free Julian Assange.
You are a goddess of the chats. Let's be real. Nobody does the chats better than Glory Jones.
I am a woman of the chats. That's why I'm here. I wouldn't be where I am now if I wasn't
True story.
A woman of the chats.
That's how she got discovered. And I still love that Convo Couch really discovered you and then Steve stole you.
Oh, Combo and Nico both. Dead ass.
Yeah. That's funny stuff. I like it.
With Combo, it was way more obvious because I was actually in Los Angeles, like with them. And they were like, here, Glory, take the mic. You want to say a few words? But with Nico, it was a bit less obvious. But the moment Steve got me, they were like, damn it. And I was like, oh, God.
What just happened? Yeah.
I was That's like, funny. Wow, I totally didn't know.
Steve did the thing with Sleepy Josh. Steve did the same thing with Sleepy Josh. Not really. It's my own fault, but I like to blame Steve because that's what I do. Sleepy Josh had said had talked about doing like a show, and he's like, "Well, I'll help you with the tech stuff if you want help." And I really didn't like. I was very wishy-washy. I didn't really know if I wanted to do it or not, and so I was like, and then I procrastinated, and then Steve like swooped him up. I was like, "Damn it, little fucker!" Steve's a fucker. I like to blame Steve for stuff, so there you have it. Okay, back to business. Should we do some Alex Saab?
That's your daily dose of wholesome from our lovely.
Me calling Steve a fucker is wholesome.
Oh no, I was talking about the Wilson clip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was pretty wholesome.
Yeah.
That was pretty wholesome. That was very nice. All right, do you want to do Alex Saab or what do you want to do? I guess we should probably do. Hold on. Oh, I messed it up. Going to get Sleepy's thingamajig. Hold please. So I wanted to play. This kind of goes along with both Daniel Hale and Steven.
Please, everyone.
Okay, random manatee.
I love this screen.
I don't know why it's so funny. I don't know why it's so funny, but it's funny.
Because it's a humanity.
I know that, Gloria. I can read.
I don't know what it is, but every time I see it, I'm like, I smile. So like, I have to.
It is pretty funny. Okay, so I wanted to play this video because first of all, it's just a great video, but also because it's a kind of announcing a thing that's coming up, which is pretty cool. Let me pause. Let me get this set up so it's bigger. Okay. Here we go.
Going on, and there's not a proper mechanism for internal accountability and external accountability. They must have a conduit to get that out to the public, and we are the conduit.
This isn't a wiki leak, this is a wiki torrent.
Well, one of the biggest leaks in US military history has exposed several cover-ups over the war in Afghanistan. It includes the deaths of hundreds of civilians.
Our nation has destroyed Afghanistan's terrorist training camps, saved the people from starvation, and freed a country from brutal oppression.
The detainee is just 16 years old.
Terrorists who once occupied Afghanistan now occupy cells at Guantanamo Bay.
Details of the interrogation of hundreds of Guantanamo prisoners have been released.
Files were leaked to the whistleblowing website WikiLeaks.
There was an 89-year-old Afghan villager who was suffering from senile dementia who was taken to Guantanamo just because some suspicious phone numbers were found in his son's house.
I'd like to end Guantanamo.
I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that.
The online whistleblower has exposed scores of Iraq documents detailing torture and hundreds of civilian deaths.
The people you liberate will witness the honorable and decent spirit of the American military.
For more than 2.5 years, the wire service Reuters has been trying to find out what happened to their 2 staff members on this street in the suburb of New Baghdad. WikiLeaks says this is what happened.
Yep, light them all up.
202 traffic, 260.
Come on, fire. God damn it, Kyle. Sorry. I hit him. Oh, yeah, look at those dead bastards.
When help arrives.
Come on, let us shoot. Clear. Come on.
Julian Assange is engaged in terrorism.
WikiLeaks is perhaps some sort of a virtual weapon of mass destruction.
He should be treated as an enemy combatant.
The dead man can't leak stuff. This guy's a traitor, a treasonous, and I'm not for the death penalty, so illegally shoot the son of a...
Well, we would like to see this material, the revelations that this material gives, be taken seriously, investigated by governments, and new policies put in place as a result, if not prosecutions of those people who have committed abuses. I'm often asked this question: what is the most single damning revelation? What is the thing that is easily capturable? The single event, the single personality, the single mass killing? But that is not the real story of this material. The real story of this material is that it's war. It's one damn thing after another. It is the continuous small events, the continuous deaths of children, insurgents, allied forces.
You've been called a lot of names. You've been characterized as a hero and as a villain, a martyr, terrorist.
I'm not yet a martyr.
Right.
Let's keep it that way.
Yep.
So that's
Not
just a really
martyr,
good
so
video.
let's fucking keep it that
Yeah,
way.
let's keep it that way. I remember that interview, and yeah, yeah, he's not a martyr, and we do need to keep it that way. So it's really exciting to see that this event is happening. You know, I don't know what effect it'll have. Hopefully it'll bring some more needed attention to what's been going on. But that video, it makes me like, it's one, it's good to hear Julian's voice. I, you know, just, we haven't heard it for a very long time. So just hearing it, even though it's an old video, is nice. But it also just makes me angry. I mean, it makes me angry.
Like hearing what these fucking bootlickers have to say about him. Like Dingo in chat made a good point. Traitor, dumb fuck, he's not American. How can he betray a country he's not from?
I love that. It's literally the dumbest attack that you could launch at Julian Assange. It just, like, the instant that comes out of your mouth, I can't take anything else you say seriously. You're dumb.
Yeah.
He's not American. He's never been American. WikiLeaks is not an American publication. It's never been based in the United States. It's ridiculous to call him a traitor. It's insane.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, this is something that Steve does a good job of hammering home, like with Julian being prosecuted with the Espionage Act. You know, the Espionage Act prosecutes people for giving military secrets to foreign enemies. The general public. Are we the foreign enemies now to the US?
We're not foreign, but we are the enemies in their opinion. But it also speaks to the fact that we want to charge him under our Espionage Act, but afford him none of the protections of our Constitution. So we very much want to have our cake and eat it too. We're going to charge him under our laws, but we're going to afford him none of the protections of such. And that is, I mean, if that isn't, you know, the behavior of an empire, I don't know what else is. I really do not. So, but that video, it just makes me angry because, as Julian's talking about, we hope that these publications will lead to potential prosecutions. There's the cover of the newspaper where Julian Assange is being punished. The guy that exposed the crimes is the only one who's been prosecuted. The only one. And this is always the case. I could rant about this forever, but John Kiriakou exposed torture. Who gets penalized? Who goes to jail? John Kiriakou, not the torturers, not the people who established the torture program or committed the acts. None of those people ever saw the inside of a courtroom. Chelsea Manning leaks information about literal war crimes. Who goes to jail? Chelsea Manning, Julian Assange. Those are the only two people who's ever seen the inside of a courtroom.
Well, and that grand jury against WikiLeaks and Chelsea Manning basically fails. To the point where to the point where the U.S. had to admit in a court of law that no U.S. government official was actually harmed by the release.
Nobody was harmed.
Of
Somebody
those
popped into
leaks, which is a huge blow to one of the main smears against Assange.
Yes, somebody I was on a show. Well, I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna say whose show I was on. It's not worth it. But somebody popped into the chat trying to make me angry and get a rise out of me, and was talking about how he exposed a bunch of Afghani blah blah. No, he didn't. Stop it. That's just, you're repeating the most, like, the stuff has been debunked over and over and over again. If you're still regurgitating that, you're a fool. You're an idiot. You are playing into the hand.
Brings up point too. In fact, Twitter tried to sue WikiLeaks, but Assange couldn't appear in America due to him not being a fucking citizen, so the case was taken up on behalf of the American lawyers.
Yeah.
It's like charging a non-US citizen with espionage. You fucking cunts.
Word, homie. Okay, so the Belmarsh Tribunal is going to be taking place. Steven Donziger was just announced as a participant. So there's a ton of participants. I'll show you the flyer here. I don't know if this is a current, like, fully updated one, but this is the first one that popped up. So that's what you get. So Belmarsh Tribunal. So whole bunch of people. You see Alice Walker, Chip Gibbons, Chris Hedges, Claire Daly, Cornell West, Jeremy Scahill. Okay, that one makes me angry. Why are we letting this douche canoe who exposes his sources participate in this? Somebody needs to explain that to me. Okay, somebody needs to explain that to me. But Margaret Kunstler, Nancy Hollander, Nathan Fuller,
Steven Donziger.
Oh, yeah, Steven Donziger, Roger Waters, a bunch of really cool people who know what the fuck they're talking about. So this is taking place on the 25th of February in New York City. It will be live streamed. Obviously, this is going to be a massive event. All these speakers. I don't know if they're doing individual speakers, if they're doing roundtable type discussions. I would imagine, given the amount of speakers, that they're probably going to have to do panels. Which having all these minds together in one place is, that's great. But hopefully this will just start bringing more attention to, the war crimes. The war crimes. That's what doesn't get talked about. I mean, obviously, because we're so busy fighting to save Julian Assange's life. And so it's like we're constantly on the defense. But it would be nice to flip the tables a little bit and go on the offense and start talking about the fucking war crimes that were committed, that nobody's ever been punished for. Nobody's ever been punished for any of this stuff. For the collateral murder video, that was, as John Pilger so eloquently put it, that was 360 degrees of murder. Yeah. And nobody's been punished for that.
Fucking light them up or what? Look at those dead bastards. Like,
come on, shoot. They giggled. Did you hear? They giggled. They were giggling. They shot at children. And then afterwards, they're like, well, you shouldn't bring kids to a gunfight. It wasn't a gunfight. It was reporters.
It was a fucking suburb in Baghdad.
Yeah. There was two journalists walking down the street with some guys. Like, there was no gunfight. You were the gunfight. It's like the cops. It's a peaceful protest till the cops show up. There was just some people walking down the street until you showed up. You brought the gunfight. Those people didn't bring their kids to a gunfight. You're a joke. Like, you're a disgusting human being. Those pilots, I hope that they struggle. I hope that haunts them. I really do. They should be in prison. Period. Julian Assange shouldn't be in prison. They should be in prison. It's disgusting. And that never gets talked about. The war crimes never get talked about. It never gets talked about. Makes me sick.
The fucking
really
war
does.
crimes, the torture.
Yes.
The corruption, everything WikiLeaks,
the money
exposed,
laundering,
really,
the environmental crimes.
Because it's from Cablegate too, so it's like the vast amount of
Yemen
corruption
files.
Is exposed.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I brought up earlier in the show. We were talking about Chevron. Like, it's a different company, but WikiLeaks cables helped expose how deeply embedded in some African governments like Nigeria that Shell was. And like, this is the same Shell that results in shit like the pollution and the complete destruction of the Niger Delta. And it's like, does that shit just not matter to you, bootlickers? Or
he's just one white guy, Glory. Never mind all the indigenous people that he's, helped bring attention to the corruption and crimes that are being committed against them. Never mind all of the dead Iraqis that have now been identified and named. Never mind any of those people. He's just one white guy. You're so racist. I love when people call me racist.
Yeah, I'm
Glory, you're so racist.
Fighting Julian Assange because he's just some white guy. Because that's what I, as a light-skinned woman, do. I just fight for white guys. Totally.
You love you some white men, don't you? I mean, you do actually, though. Sleepy J and Steve are our favorite white guys. Oh, and Pasta, obviously.
And Pasta.
Yeah, obviously.
And Robbie.
And Robbie. Oh, Robbie's going to be on my show, you guys. It's been a long fucking time. But Robbie's going to be on my show on the 22nd, Tuesday, the 22nd, at I think 5. I think is what we
Nice.
decided on. So it's been a long time. He's been kind of MIA on Twitter, so it's been really difficult to get a hold of him. But I finally got him and nailed him down. You're coming on my show, dude. So you
Yeah,
guys tune in
and
for
y'all
that.
check out Robbie Yeager's timeline too, because he's got some updates on the Colonial Pipeline story, which
Yeah.
got literally zero coverage outside of MCSC Network and like maybe 2 other channels.
Yeah. I have to pat myself on the back. We were the first people to have him on to talk about that shit. Woo, woo. Got it.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back too.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the last thing we have is just an update on
The
Alex
Alex
Saab. So let me pull this up.
That's another thing you can go to WikiLeaks for, Prop. If you want to know the story of how Justin Trudeau got elected, look into the Hillary Clinton and Podesta emails on the
Yeah.
WikiLeaks website.
Yep. Okay. Here we go.
The white man.
All right. So Venezuela, Alex Saab trial set as lawyers deny cooperation with U.S. agencies. Saab's defense claimed the disclosure of meetings with U.S. law enforcement officials proves the quote-unquote weakness of the charges against him. There you see lovely protests going on. Those are my people. Okay, so a U.S. judge set October 11th for the trial on Venezuelan government special envoy Alex Saab, who was charged with a conspiracy to launder money. In a hearing at the Miami federal
Fucking
courthouse
sure.
on Wednesday,
Oh, I just said sure.
Oh, in a hearing at the Miami federal courthouse on Wednesday, Judge Robert Scola? I don't know. Fuck him. Clarified that Saab's trial date was only preliminary as his defense looks to have his diplomatic immunity upheld at the 11th Circuit Court in Atlanta, Georgia on April 4th. So April 4th is a big date for this. According to the Nicolas Maduro government, the businessman was appointed as a special envoy and given a diplomatic passport in April 2018 as part of the Caribbean country's efforts to circumvent U.S. financial and trade sanctions. On Wednesday's hearing, Scola went on to schedule a follow-up session for June 10th to review the Atlanta court resolution on Saab's diplomatic status. On October 4th, details for the final trial are due to be settled. However, the Florida court stated that all dates are subject to modification. The federal judge likewise refused a bail request once more. Of course. The Miami hearing was marked by the unsealing of new court records filed by the U.S. Department of Justice, adding another layer to the controversial case. The documents allege that Saab, quote unquote, proactively cooperated for 12 months with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, or the DEA, since June 2018, forfeiting some $10 million in funds and providing information about, quote, bribes that he paid and crimes that he committed, end quote. Saab reportedly failed to surrender to U.S. authorities on May 30th, 2019. As agreed, in retaliation, he was later indicted by a Miami federal court on charges of laundering money profited through the state contracts related to imports for Venezuela's Great Housing Mission and the government subsidized CLAP food program, or CLAP food program. In response to the new allegations of Venezuelan envoys, it's hard to say fast, lawyers immediately issued a statement confirming that some meetings did occur, but denying accusations of Saab being an informant. Quote, Mr. Saab wishes to clarify that the sole purpose of the meetings with the Department of Justice and law enforcement officials was to confirm neither he nor any companies associated with him had done anything wrong, end quote, read the communique. The defense team added that, quote, any alleged engagement was undertaken with the full knowledge and support of the Bolivarian. Yeah, I can't talk today. Blah. I told you earlier, my mouth doesn't want to form words today. I'm having a really difficult time. I have these days though. Republic of Venezuela, end quote, stressing that Saab remains a, quote, loyal citizen, end quote, diplomat, end quote, of the South American nation. Quote, the release of the document at the request of the Department of Justice is no more than an attempt to harm the interests of Venezuela and further evidence the weakness of the criminal charges made against him, end quote, concluded the statement signed by Saab's attorney, David Rivkin, who was not present in court. Saab's case has been singled out as a politically motivated and mired with irregularities, including the continued disregard of his diplomatic credentials and legal proceedings.
Yep.
In June 2020, yeah, I mean, this is a political case. It doesn't get, I don't know if it gets much more, I mean, Assange, but I mean, they can't hide the political nature of this. It's insane. In June 2020, the businessman was detained without an Interpol warrant during a refueling stopover in Cape Verde en route to Iran to close food, medicine, and fuel import deals on behalf of Caracas. After a protracted legal battle on September 8th, 2021, Cape Verde's constitutional court ruled that the Venezuelan envoy should be extradited. He was flown to Florida on October 16th. However, the extradition ran afoul of an earlier ruling by the Regional Economic Community of West Africa Court, ordering Saab's release, citing several irregularities. Additionally, court filings revealed that Saab's controversial extradition to Florida was the result of a deal with Cape Verde, with both parties agreeing that he would face no more than 20 years in prison, the maximum allowed in the African nation's laws. God, I can't talk. On November 1st, 2021, U.S. Judge Robert Sculla dismissed 7 out of 8 money laundering charges, leaving 1 lone count of conspiracy to launder money. Saab has pleaded not guilty. Recently, Colombia-based U.S. charge d'affaires to Venezuela, James Story, shed more light on Saab's arrest and subsequent extradition process. In an interview, the official admitted that Washington held a 15-month-long negotiation with Cape Verdean authorities and congratulated the African nation for, quote, standing firm, end quote. The statements prompted a reaction from Saab's wife, Camilla Fabri. Is it Fabri or Fabri? Fabri? I think it's Fabri. Currently living in Caracas as a leading member of the campaign for the Venezuelan diplomat's release. Quote, James Story has just publicly acknowledged what we have been denouncing for months. This is a case of political persecution. They use Cape Verde to kidnap Alex. Yes. They accept this without any shame, end quote, stated Fabri during a webinar on February 4th. As Saab appeared in front of the Miami federal court, several rallies took place across the U.S. showing support and demanding his immediate release. At least 4 protests were staged in Miami, Washington, Boston, and New York, while another one was held in the U.S. consulate in Montreal, Canada. Go Montreal. 2 online events organized by Venezuelan officials and activists likewise accompanied Wednesday's #FreeAlexSaab campaign. And here's just a picture of somebody, a Code Pink member at one of the events. Saab's extradition had major political repercussions, with the Venezuelan government pulling out of the Norway brokered negotiations held with the U.S.-backed opposition in Mexico City. Caracas has stated that talks will only resume once Saab is released. He shouldn't be in prison.
No, he shouldn't.
Yeah, this is a very political case.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and yeah, shout out to Caleb for holding a protest. True story. Credit where it's due.
Yeah.
So April 4th, right? I think. Hold on, let me double check because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. Yes, April 4th. There's a lot of stuff going on in April. So
yeah.
There is. So April 4th, I wish it was closer to April 11th so that we could do like dual stuff. But I am willing to we should try to throw in an Alex Saab thing while we're there, while we're in DC.
Yeah, we can definitely do that while we're in DC.
I mean, yeah. Why not? It's not like we sleep. I'm sure we can do it sometime, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that
Just
for sure.
throw it in at like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Well, I think I'm going to get into town on Friday. So if enough people are there on Saturday, perhaps we could do it then, or maybe we could do it after the In the Damn Wars protests. Or I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we'll do something. We will do something for sure. So yeah, free Alex Saab. I think that's about all I can say about that. It's another ridiculous case of the United States, being assholes.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Remember the fish route files and how WikiLeaks helped expose companies exploiting African fishing? Yes. Seriously, you guys, WikiLeaks has exposed so much shit.
It's hard to keep up. They
It
expose
is.
not just the fishing industry, they expose a lot of the dirty mineral rights, wars for mineral rights in Africa. There was a big scandal in the Central African Republic that WikiLeaks was kind of instrumental in exposing how like a lot of Western and Chinese companies really like would fake contracts and skirt environmental accountability for any damage to nature in negotiating like mining contracts for uranium rights and stuff. And yeah.
I mean, a lot.
There's a lot in WikiLeaks.
I don't even know. You guys know, obviously, huge WikiLeaks fan, right? It's what I do. I don't even know everything that's in WikiLeaks. It's impossible for one human being to be able to read through all of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible. There's so much. There's so
There
much.
really is.
It would take a lot, like years for you to read everything. It's a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that WikiLeaks has exposed that never gets talked about, that never gets mentioned, that nobody seems to give a shit about. That's what's so frustrating. It's like, really? I mean, you would think literal war crimes would be enough for people to be like, okay, maybe we should do something about this.
Yeah.
No. Okay, let's do something about it. Let's throw the guy that exposed it in jail. Let's do that. That's a good idea. Oh God, we're so backwards.
People suck.
People do suck. But it's okay, my fellow cultists. We're going to be okay. We're going to keep fighting. It's
Hell
okay.
yeah.
No matter how many times they move the goalposts, no matter how many times they accuse us of being racist or grifters or whatever, we're still going to keep. I'm not going to
try that
stop.
line on me, guys.
They
I
will.
got the-
You'll be
Oh,
a
they have.
self-hating.
They
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
I get self-hating more than racist, but
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, I mean they just moved the goalpost. Remember, it used to be, well, you don't talk about Mumia, so you whatever. And okay, I probably don't talk about Mumia enough, but nobody. I mean, it doesn't get enough attention. I'm one person. Go get more attention for it. But then now it's been changed to I don't talk about Yemen enough. So now it's no longer Mumia that they're using as the football and the method of attack, which is gross. If you're using political prisoners to score Twitter points, you're gross.
Yeah.
You're gross. But now it's Yemen, and now they're using Yemen, a genocide. They're using Yemen to try to score points against me, some chick in Ohio.
I love a comment that Shadowban put in the chat. Literal war crimes. Huh? Bro, did you see that call the ref made on the Rams? They was trying to steal the game for the Bengals.
Dude, forget the call that they made on the Rams. Listen, I wanted the Bengals to win. The face mask that the Bengals got away with, holy balls! It was so like right out there. Like right out there. It was a whole on like tried to rip his head off face mask and nobody called it. So I hear you. I really did want the Bengals to win though. I really did.
I wanted
that's
the
okay.
Bengals to win just because, like, you know, they were the underdogs. And,
Yeah,
like,
I love a good. Well, plus, my dad died in 2000, and he was Listen, I understand. He was a long-suffering Bengals fan. I realized that like all Bengals fans were long-suffering Bengals fans. You can't be a Bengals fan and not have been a long-suffering. But it would have been really cool. He would have He would have been flipping. Lost it. He would have lost it. He would have
bro,
lost
I get
it.
it. I'm pretty sure. My late grandpa, I'm pretty sure he stayed alive just to watch the Raptors win an NBA championship. Because it was the Raptors' first championship, and like he lived to see the whole thing because like he'd literally be sleeping and then he would wake up just to like cuss out Pascal Siakam, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, if the Bengals would have won the Super Bowl, like I could totally see my dad like rising from the dead to like throw a party and then, you know, go back, like die again.
Oh yeah.
Like he would have been losing his entire mind. So I wanted the Bengals to win. I don't really watch the NFL. I haven't watched the NFL since like the Aikman Smith days way back.
I don't watch that fake football. I watch real football.
Yeah. Boring football is what you watch.
20 times, Man United.
Oh boy. Oh my God, you don't get it. Assange is an op to normalize Bitcoin.
Oh, shadow banned.
It's funny. You guys, you got to go talk about Yemen. Yemen is more important. And listen, I agree. Yemen doesn't get enough attention.
I don't like is an op shadow banned.
Yeah. But yeah, Yemen does get. Here's the thing though. If you think that there's something that needs more attention, maybe stop policing what I talk about and go talk about that thing. Do it yourself. I'm just one person. There's only so many hours in my day. I have kids. I have a house to take care of. I'm trying to go to the gym. I got stuff going on. I can't do it all. Go out there and do something productive instead of worrying about what the fuck I talk about. Losers. Sorry. They are losers though.
The little laugh at the end.
They are losers though, dude. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you. Honestly, like I'm just embarrassed for you. Get a clue, dude. Go organize something. Do something productive. Get a plant. Buy a plant. A whole garden. Some of y'all need a whole garden.
on March 29th, if you're anywhere in Northern California or Central California, or if you can make it on Tuesday, March 29th, that's when Commander X's next court hearing is. It's going to be a big one because that's when they're actually going to finalize the plea agreement, and that's when
could he possibly get out like soon? Little bit of hope.
There's a tiny.
I'm gonna take that little bit of hope. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
There's a
I could use
there's
that.
a very, 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 very tiny chance that he could get out on the 29th.
Oh,
but
that would make me so happy.
But it probably won't happen in all likeliness. They
Yeah.
finalize the plea agreement on the 29th, and then on March 29th, and then about 6 to 8 weeks after, that's when he has his actual sentencing hearing.
Okay.
And after March 29th, that's when I'm pretty sure the court will start accepting all the mitigation letters that come in. And and the instructions for that haven't come out yet.
Okay.
But if you're willing to write one because you
I'll write
know
one.
X, yeah. And
I got no
as
problem
long
giving
as
them my
you're
name and my
willing to,
address.
as long as you're willing to use your real name and a legitimate address, if you can't totally fucking understand that, trust me. But if you're willing to do that, then the instructions will be out. I don't know when, maybe like soon-ish, on at FreeCommanderX _ on Twitter, which is kind of like the main hub for updates in that.
Cool. Shadowban, speaking of
yeah.
Sam Cedar, that motherfucker followed me on Twitter. Is he lost? Did he get lost? What is he doing following me on Twitter? I kind of want to fuck with him, but I haven't like figured out like my plan of attack yet. But I don't know why the fuck he's following me. I don't know. He has to be just confused. Either that or he somehow thinks he's going to use my tweets to do. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know what he's doing, but it's weird that Sam Cedar
Shadowban's
follows
having
me.
fun in the chat.
Isn't he? Shadowban's always having fun.
You
Let's be
know
real.
what, Shadow? I'm surprised you haven't thrown up some black flags in the chat yet.
True story.
But yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about Commander X. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything coming up that you need to hype or whatever?
I actually do have other things coming up. This weekend on... Oh, shit. It's either the 19th or the 20th. I forget. Hold up. Let me just go to the DM. Okay. So this Sunday, which will be this Sunday, February 20th. So besides the fact that I'm on Slow News Day, Steve broadcasts every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. East Coast time. And then we go live Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. East Coast time. and besides the fact that I'm on Slow News Day, shout out Scoop Gang, always repping. This Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. East Coast time, I will be on Marcus Cage shooting a Black History Month
Hold on.
stream.
You froze for a
Did I
second.
cut out?
For a second.
Yeah, because I saw
you said Marcus, and then it cut out.
So Marcus Cage, shout out Young Morpheus, Hebrew apologetics, Political Matrix, What I've Been Thinking with Marcus Cage. I'm sure there's like 5 other YouTube channels I'm forgetting, but Marcus Cage is doing a Black History Month stream on his What I've Been Thinking channel, and it's going to be me, Sabby Sabs, Nico House, and Unapologetic. That's going to be happening this Sunday, February 20th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. East Coast time. And also next weekend, Sabby Sabs, who's going to be on that panel, is doing a women's summit. And I will be on a panel on February 27th, which is, I believe, a Sunday. Let me check my calendar because I don't know my days. Yeah, so February 27th at 5:15 p.m. Pacific time, 8:15 p.m. East Coast time, I will be on Sabby Sab's Women's Summit. Not going to reveal my fellow panelists just yet, but let's just say they're pretty cool panelists, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, other than that, again, make sure to catch me out on catch me on Slow News Day Sundays. We're all on the MCSC Mikasa Sukasa network. Fucking badass fucking network. Shout out all my fans in the chat. I have a Hive blog. It's at Zero Eclipse with 2 E's. Other than that, you can find me on the ground and around. If you check out my thread from this Sunday, it's a bunch of stuff that happened outside the Super Bowl stadium. So, yeah, don't know if I'll be on the ground this weekend. If I am, then you'll see it on my Twitter. So, yeah.
Okay. So, tomorrow, Facts on Friday, 4 p.m., Free Assange Vigil, 9 p.m. Sunday at noon Eastern, we're going to be interviewing Kit Clarenberg about his recent article about Jeffrey Epstein, which should be interesting. And then I have Bitch every Wednesday at 7. Next week, Trey's coming on.
Yes, I was just about to say.
My boo-boo. I love Trey. I'm so excited because he's been on a couple times, but it's always when there's a bunch of us and everybody's so fucking loud that he can't ever get a word
loud
in.
and talking over each other.
Yeah. So it's just going to be Trey, just me and Trey. We're just going to hang out together for a couple hours. So you guys will get to be able to get to know him a little bit. And I'm really excited about that. I'm also going to be on Sabby's Women's Summit. My time is Sunday, February 27th at 7:15. It's the Violence Against Women panel. So I'm very excited about that. Shout out to Sabby for organizing it. I love Sabby. And yeah, I mean, I hate doing these because I always forget some shit. But yeah, you can lurk. Sleepy, you're always welcome to lurk. You know that, dude. I don't like it when you're not there. I like it when you come. So,
Sleepy is one of the few men I don't mind lurking on her streams constantly.
True. Instead of Sleepy Josh, we can start calling him Creepy Josh.
Oh no.
Oh, not really. I'm just joking. Sleepy Josh is better. So yeah, I don't like doing these thingies because I always forget some shit, but you guys know I'm on Twitter and I usually remember to tweet about my stuff. Not always, but sometimes. So yeah, you're not creepy about it. I'm just kidding.
You're not creepy about it.
Okay.
Sleepy.
So I'm pretty sure that's all we have for you guys this week. We will be back next week, obviously 4 p.m. every week, with more whistleblower, political prisoner, targeted journalists, sunshine and rainbows. So, you know, thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out. We appreciate you as always, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Nothing